Hi YouTube, it's me, the Shy Pianist, or you may know me as Donald of Zephyr Wargames, bringing you part 2 to the Viking deck profile, or in this case it's really the test hands and such. So, as with all the other deck profiles and videos that you've probably seen, I'll be doing like sort of 5 test hands going first, 5 test hands going second, so you sort of see how this deck plays as in general, and then I'll probably talk about the text and its background, so that you sort of understand how this deck came to be, rather than it's just a deck profile and can this be played competitively or not, etc. And that sort of usual stuff. So really, I just sort of demonstrate my thought process in dealing with this deck, and let's go straight to it. So going first, so to me, I think that's a pretty decent hand, allowing you to not only set up for next turn and such. So but the idea would be, you set your torrential, set your kickfire, and then your opponent, and then when your opponent would summon a monster and such, you play your torrential and then flip kickfire, and then this will put a counter onto kickfire, and then triggering Barong. Of course, you can by playing torrential, you can interrupt a lot of the summons and combos that some people do rely on, and then during your next standby phase, draw for turn, and then you can then add a Fire King card from your deck to hand. Now in some instances, I would try and add Onslaught, but because you probably, if you played Torrential and your opponent doesn't have any monsters, go for I would go for Fire King Island, allowing you to then search off and go off from there. So what I would do, if you've destroyed all your opponent's monsters, search your Fire King Island to then destroy your Sphinx, to then add your High King Avatar. Now if they still had a monster on the board, then I would go with Onslaught, and it would trigger off anyway. And the idea of this would be that you normal summon your Solar Flare Dragon, and then play Circle of Fire Kings, destroying Solar Flare Dragon, target your Hazy Flame Sphinx, or you can revive back Barong. And I would gamble to go into Sphinx and then use its effect, which the deck's half mainly monsters, so that I would declare a monster, and if it is right, which isn't sadly this case, you would have special summon your Fire King Avatar onto the field. And by playing Kickfire, you would add another counter to Kickfire. So that's sort of so you can sort of see that if you want to play this a bit more competitively, you would add in your sort of solemns and strikes and turn 1 plays and that sort of thing. But yeah, this is what it generally does for me. Going first, so set your Kickfire, set your backfire, and then I probably would set your Grunix face down. So that being said, that if your opponent does attack through, you can still burn through your 3 copies, and then not only that, you'll do essentially 1,500 if they burn through all of them, and then you can revive Avada, or you special summon Avada from your second to last Grunix. And then if that gets destroyed, you can then revive Grunix, and then when it gets let's see, so you can do that, special summon, it burns through all of these 3 and then you revive that. And then if it stays on board, then you can obviously go into a rank 4 play, or etc. And so draw for turn, I would tribute summon and gamble again, or so if I did declare a monster, it would have allowed me to special summon, or if you decide to just normal summon and then go overlay into lightning or something, that's cool too. And you know, having Avada out means you can negate your opponent's monster effects and destroy fire monsters in your hand, or you control in its as an additional thing. Oh, sorry. So that's test hand number 2. So as it's probably gathered by now, this is really sort of casual level of play, and it's meant for fun. So going first, now really you can either just sort of go with Yasha or Flame with Fire Dog straight off, and then or yeah, go with Yasha and sort of set one in a way. Or the idea would be you deliberately pass so that when your opponent does get a monster on the field and then draw for turn, you then play your Circle Fire Kings and go off from there. And plus, if your opponent's monster, you can attack over Flame Wheel Fire Dog, allowing you to then special summon on top, and basically do extra stuff with that regards, because whatever you special summon will be destroyed by the High Avatar if you special summoned from the Onslaught, and then probably Barong, and then during your next standby phase, you'll be able to search a Fire King card that you need. So 4th test hand going first. This deck is mainly to go, in my opinion, I like to go second with this deck, because you're really relying on that sort of onslaught, but you have like cards like Torrential Tribute to then sort of give you additional edge, so on top of that, and then that basically sets you up to then go for like next turn and such. And there you go. And test hand number 5. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, I've been drawing all that all the time. Let's go a bit more. Let's try and see something a bit more different. Here we go. And there you go. So, way to regards, I would probably set Kirin. Set Kirin so that if it gets destroyed, you can then, and set these two, then you special send Grunix to the grave, and then during your next turn, if you draw for turn, and then you can summon one of these two, and then you Circle Fire Kings destroy Hedgehog to then revive Grunix, and then Hedgehog will allow you to then add back Kirin from your grave to hand. And then all you have to do from then on is to essentially trigger Grunix effect in a way, and then go from there and get another one to the field. Alright, so let's go second this time and see what we can do. So going second, you probably would consider playing cards like Fire Formation Tengi along with Coach Soldier Wolfbark, so that you can basically make easy rank 4 plays. So going second, as you can probably see here. So this is quite, I think, to be honest, it's actually quite nice. Allowing you to set your Kickfire, and then if you play Onslaught, you special summon out your Avatar, and then hey, you can even like normal summon this at Yasha, play your Dark Hole, which will then give you two, well, I mean, you can save this Dark Hole for later, because then your during your opponent's turn, this would have been destroyed. So you special summon it, destroy Yasha, and then obviously activate Kickfire, putting a counter on it, and then Yasha will trigger, allowing you to then destroy the one in hand. And then your turn, draw for turn, this revives, destroys, that'd be 2. So you can then set these and play your Circle Fire Kings and Dark Hole from there. So as you can see, that's the sort of the way it goes. So you loop and then build up counters and do damage, and not only that, you can attack with your Avatar, and if it would be attempted to be destroyed by a battle, you can play the Circle Fire Kings during your opponent's turn to then sort of redirect that in a sense. Of course, that will probably trigger a replay, so you will have to sort of I would probably special summon out your Avada, which will then revive you the one that's in your grave, then trigger that off as well, in a sense. So the one that's been destroyed by battle, you can revive with Avada if it gets destroyed, and then keep your loop going in a sense. So that was test hand going going second. So going second, test hand number 2. So I would probably start off things with your Avada, and like, you know, you can play your MST if you want to, and set your Torrential Tribute and Backfire. Now, having Avada on field, you know, if they were to trigger monster effects, you don't have to, you know, attack obviously, and it gives that sort of negation on your opponent's turn, and then this will, you would ideally set off Barong to then search for your Viking card that you need. In this sort of case, I would either go with Onslaught, because if Avada gets destroyed, you have no monsters, or you can go with Viking Island to then sort of search out cards later for the game. So test hand number 3, going second. There you go. So I would start off things with Viking Island and destroy Grinix in hand, to then allow you to add you another Grinix. You can at this point either summon out your Kirin, because when your Viking is destroyed, yeah, you can then send out another Viking avatar from your deck to grave, or if you so wish to, summon out Avada. But Avada wouldn't be helpful in this sense, as there's nothing to really revive when it gets destroyed by card effect. Let's see, destroy a Viking card. So if you can add, yeah, so Yashgar might be helpful in some cases, but you do need to have another high avatar Grinix to set off and go from there. That's the 4th test hand, second, circle, Onslaught, Barong, and Torrential Tribute. So playing Onslaught gets out your Viking avatar, and then, you know, you can summon your Barong out, set, and then it gets destroyed during your opponent's standby phase, and then back to your standby phase, you can add a Viking card. So yeah, that's the way it goes. And for the last test hand, go and draw. So, setting your Backfire and your Torrential Tribute, choices are, I would either go to Avada, and then, you know, if you know your opponent's playing a lot of monster effects, summon it out first to sort of get sort of pressure onto the opponent, though they will probably just go into battle phase and attack anyway. Or you can go into Viking Avatar Barong. Basically, if you really want to, I could suggest that, you know, you summon your Avada, and if they would, you know, summon another monster, then you can, without using effects, you then play your Torrential Tribute, destroying, and then allowing you to summon Barong and Grinix to the field. So there's those sort of options there. So as you can see, the deck doesn't really, you know, do any OTK. There's a sort of bit of control, but, you know, depending on the tech you play, you can do a lot more control than what I've given in the deck build. So those are sort of test hands. So you can see it's really casual in a way in its own right, and the extra deck is really hardly used. On to so tech. So probably one of the most notable techs to be playing with Vikings is in fact the True King Asmongodd, the Fire True King, alongside with, you know, Dragonic Diagram if you're able to play it and that sort of thing. I have tested playing True King Asmongodd in this deck. It's really nice as to have an extra beat stick and to get off effects. Cards I would take out would be like the Flame Sphinx and the Tuner, Flamewell Hedgehog, for free. And if you really have the money to do so, you know, you can play, you know, dragonic diagrams in place of, like, you know, the backfires and such. And you can even, you know, run terraforming in its place and that sort of thing. As I mentioned earlier, going second, you would choose to play cards like, you know, Fire Formation Tenki and Tensus, allowing you to get additional North Summon if you want to go for more focused rank 4 play, alongside with Coach Soldier Wolfbark, allowing you to as you basically revive and then overlay, or even link now. For other techs, you can play the Sacred Phoenix of Nephesis. When destroyed by card effect during your next standby phase, it revives and destroys all the spells and traps. Now, I consider it as a bit slow, because it has to be your next standby phase rather than during the next standby phase. So there's that too. And that's all I really can say with in regards to tech. So yeah, you can, you know, play your hand traps here, play your Psalms here, just take out the sort of fun tech that I've got in the deck. And then I guess I want to talk about a history part of the deck. So first off, noticeably, as with every deck I play, they have a character sleeve in which sort of represents them at best as I can think of. Some of them don't, but Lucia from Rewrite is probably a notable one I would like to say, in that her personality is that she is a class leader, and she sort of rules with a fiery passion and an iron fist. And she is a Cinderella in a way, not in the way she is, and the whole idea of how she has a good fiery passion to, like, keep order in the class is sort of why I play her for Fire Kings and any burn decks in regards to sort of match her personality. As with all sleeves, yes, they are standard size, so they do look odd on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Sleeves. If you don't like the sleeves, then I really, I've kind of invested too much into these now to sort of go back on it, and I love them either. As for the images on the backs, as for the deck itself, or how it came to be, so you probably all know that the Vikings had their own structure deck. I initially built a lot of my decks in 60 card builds to sort of test out the techs, and one of the notable techs that I did bump down was the Hazy Flame techs. So I did play a lot of variety of the Hazy Flames because we didn't have a lot of the Fire King avatars to sort of compensate the monsters, and it was ideally sort of go into the Hazy Flame Basilisk to get as many materials under it as possible to basically be a one big beat stick. So, okay, so that's test hands and history. Okay, so there's combos. This, as I mentioned before, the deck isn't really combo based. The only real effective combos and how they sort of, there's no like chain of combos that you do in regards, but there's just like obviously Avada allowing you to sort of pop your monsters in hand, then negate and then set off the effects. Circle of Fire Kings is great during the battle phase and allowing you to sort of destroy and then special summon. So yeah, the main combo of the deck is this Circle of Fire Kings with the Fire King Higher Avatar, which I've mentioned before, where you destroy one to then revive the other, and then your opponent's next standby phase, you special summon it, destroy the one that's on the field, and then this essentially gives you the loop, in a sense, and destroying all monsters on the field. This is why I do say that extra deck monsters won't exactly last long, but if they're there in your extra deck, it's nice to have them as a backup. So that's really it with the video. I'll be going on to my next deck profile whenever I get around to it. As I say, I do this for fun, so if you enjoyed it, thank you, and thanks for watching, and as always guys, happy dueling!